All right, so I went to go see this movie the other day, The Crow. You know what I'm saying now? What is the crow? The black crow helps the soul move back and forth to different realms. That's what they're showing in this movie. That's what the black crow, that's what the symbolism is. That's what it's symbolic to. Now, um, it's also showing that when we do this, because our soul can do this even when we're consciously of doing it or not, that we are multidimensional beings. Um, and one of the things that they kept showing was when after he had died, you know what I'm saying, when he was in the lower realm, it wasn't hell because he was like, where am I? It was another being there. And this being was basically telling him, I guess he was like a overseer or like a guardian of this realm. And every time he basically was telling him it wasn't his time to die, but he was capable of interchanging, going back and forth to the physical reality and the reality that he was in. So every time he pushed them back into the water, he would come back to the physical realm. So we all know that the oceans, the waters, and all that stuff, all of it hasn't been discovered, and they haven't discovered everything in the waters and the oceans. And we know that the waters is the real space. You know what I'm saying? As above, so below. That's why the sky look blue. You know what I'm saying? It's ocean above us. You know what I'm saying? Over the firmament. So it's showing that we are multidimensional beings, and that it also shows that when we vibrate on the highest frequency, love, because he really loved his girlfriend that got killed, but he was willing to interchange his physical life to bring her back because the being on the lower round was telling him that where she went is no place of return. He loved her so much he wanted to bring her back by giving up his life. And the reason why she couldn't return is because there was this Caucasian being. I'm marking off my notes as I go because I took notes. It was this Caucasian being that was in the physical realm that didn't belong there, but he was using his powers, his gifts in a negative way to make other people do things unconsciously and unaware of what they were doing. Even though they was unconsciously and aware of doing it, they basically committed a sin. You know what I'm saying? So that sin prevented them to be able to go to a realm where they could be happy at in the afterlife. So all he had to do was just whisper in their ear, and they will commit something and do something that was so provoking and so profound that it will prevent them from moving on through the afterlife. So his job was to go back, and his job was supposed to go back and show that we can operate on the love and chaos frequency. And on the chaos, if we are here to make the wrong right, like in the movie, getting rid of all the beings that don't belong there. So his job was to go back and make all the wrongs right by getting rid of all the beings that was operating on the physical realm, basically cheating on in our reality because they had godlike powers, but they was using it in a negative way. I'm not gonna say demonic because we already know that religion teach that the things that we can do that people think is demonic, but it's basically is our gifts. Now, this black this black blood come from his eye. That's melon. That's melon. That represents melon. You know what I'm saying? That's the melon. That's the melon in us. And this show also shows that we got to go through some things to come to our awakened state. Not necessarily everybody got to go through something really bad or really horrific or whatever, but I honestly can say that you got to go through some things to awaken that third eye. And it will. You know what I'm saying? Love will activate chaos, and chaos is melon, and chaos will bring change. Yeah. All right. Now let's move on to the next thing. All right. Before I was rudely interrupted, now I gotta start all over. Even though this movie, the main character wasn't a melanated character, this movie was all about us. You know what I'm saying? It shows everything about us on him, all the way down to the black blood, which is our melon, all the way down to the text. His text was occult text, cult symbols, sigils, alchemy, comedic text, everything spiritual. He got the all-seeing eye on his chest, which is the third eye, and he had sigils on his fingers, which was crazy. Um, coincidental, because some of the stuff that he had on his fingers is some of the stuff that I'm gonna get. Um, this basically was just telling you in your face that this movie is about truth, telling us what we can do, that we're multi-dimensional beings, that we can move into different realms. You know what I'm saying? But we don't have to be guided by no crow though, even though that crow is symbolic. You know what I'm saying? Um, I couldn't find on any other picture online that would show all his text. But like I said, most of his text was everything I already mentioned. He had this one text, it was three nines upside down. Three nines is 27. When you break down that 27, the two and the seven, that's equals nine. That's nine ether beings for those who do know. You know what I'm saying? For those who those knows. But those three nines are also upside down sixes. Upside down sixes, you know what I'm saying? Three sixes is 18. And then when you reduce the one and the eight, that is nine. Nine ether beings. So like I said, this movie was talking about nine ether beings because they were showing you all the pieces and all the puzzles, all the golden goose eggs, all throughout the movie and all over his body. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, let's go on to the next thing. Now this was a screenshot because I couldn't never put what it was in the movie because he didn't stay still long enough. So I pulled the trailer up and I watched the trailer and I paused it and I screenshot this joint. This says lullaby. What is lullaby? Y'all know what lullaby means. Rocking you to sleep. And what I think the reason why they kept showing this in the movie, I couldn't, like I said, I couldn't make out because it was cursing and it didn't stay on it too long. They basically telling you right in your face that we're rocking you to sleep by making y'all thinking that all this stuff is demonic when it's real symbolism describing melanated 90 beings who we really are. They rocking the masses to sleep right in front of you. You know what I'm saying? Let's move on to the next thing. Now I couldn't get a close up of his lower right core, but from what I kept on seeing in the movie was it was either two Egyptian cats or two Anubis dogs that were side by side with each other. Y'all can correct me on that, but this is what I seen. This is the silhouette that I seen and all black on his right core, which is the comedic text talking about melanated 90s the beings. All right, now, so what is the symbolism in the movie Crow? People once believed that when someone dies, a crow carries their soul to the land of the dead. But sometimes something so bad happens that a terrible sadness is carried with it and the soul can't rest. We all know, what I'm saying, in the so-called conscious community like that, if someone is grieving you so bad, that soul is not gonna move on. It's gonna stay here in the physical realm. But it's not like you really gonna see it with your physical eyes, but spiritual um phenomenons will happen. you'll know that it's a past loved one or a friend. You know what I'm saying? So then sometimes, just sometimes, the crow can bring that soul back to put the wrong things to right. You know what I mean? Now, while crows are sometimes considered bad omens, crow tattoos are generally positive. They represent transformation and positive life changes as well as good luck and protection. These tattoos are symbolism, intelligence, spirituality, and mystery. hmm So, what was the message of the movie Crow? Above all else, The Crow is one of those stories that I believe that could be meaningful to those who have lost a loved one through death or are grieving about something or someone beloved that is gone in an unexpected way. Hmm. So there you have it, y'all. Another in your face Jumpman React vid. Another in your face by these so-called high uh company people. I don't even want to use the word elite, using our esoteric knowledge, esoteric information, and talking about you right in your face while you're eating your popcorn and you're sipping your soda and you're eating your candy. They got bio red, bio blue, and all this on the ingredients, and the whole time you just having a good time and not knowing that they talking about you, you, in you, in you, in you. Hotel. Peace. I'm out. Jump man, who can eat your man.